Good evening. It is the 24th day of April 2017. Many thanks for joining us here on KTN News for yet another edition of Choice 2017. We veer off the usual topics. Today we are all about the party primaries currently ongoing. Vote counting is ongoing in all the areas where nomination exercise was being conducted. We will be speaking to a number of our reporters, but first let me introduce the guests we have on set now. On my immediate left we have Professor Oeri Tumbo, who is a political commentator. He will be speaking to us about a lot of the things or how he analyzes the party primaries and some of the biggest political battles we will be looking at down at the county level. We also have Calvin Owidi, who is a political analyst. He comes from one of the counties that went to the polls today, so he will be in a better position to analyze it for us. And finally, we have Dismas Mukua, a political analyst, though he likes to call himself a political risk analyst because, of course, politics has a lot of risks that you take, and Dismas likes to be at the center of it all. These are my guests tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll also be joining a number of my colleagues in the field. Associate editor here at KTN News, Noah Otieno, has been in Homa Bay all day. He will be giving us updates on how the voting process went, how the vote counting process is, a number of disgruntled voices that were there earlier on. He will be telling us whether they are still there. We also have Duncan Haimba, our senior political reporter from Migori County. He's been traversing the county all day. He will be giving us updates. At some point during the day, we saw a vehicle that was intercepted with ballot papers. Police made arrests. So Duncan Haimba will be giving us updates on all that happened in Migori County, even as the vote counting process is ongoing currently. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Kisa Wandara. We would love to engage with you on social media. Our Twitter poll question at this hour is, are you satisfied with the manner in which political parties are conducting their primaries? Are you satisfied with the manner in which political parties are conducting their primaries? Tweet us at KTN News. You can tweet me at Akisa Wandera. The hashtag is Choice2017, and I'll definitely be sampling a number of your views as we continue with the program tonight. Many thanks for joining us. All right, let's start off from Migori County, where Governor Koth Obado faces competition from Ochilo Ayako, and earlier on when he spoke, he called for peace. Let's just take a look at what he said before we speak to our senior political reporter, Duncan Haimba.
Appeal to my supporters is that let us keep the peace. Let us not engage in any move that may make us maybe to abuse one another and fight one another. We must realize that elections like the one we are having today is just a one-day event. They come and go, but as the people of Migori County, we will always be there.
All right, that was Governor Koth Obado earlier on in the day, just after casting his ballot. Let's now speak to our senior political reporter who, as I mentioned earlier, has been traversing the county of Migori all day, bringing us the news on how the nomination exercise has been conducted and continues to be conducted. Duncan, thank you very much for joining us. It has been a very busy day in Migori County. How is the vote counting process currently?
Akisa, a busy day indeed, and with regard to that vote counting process, I'm here at Migori Muslim Primary School, and there's total blackout that hit Migori town shortly after 6:30. So what is happening right behind me is that the clerks, the agents, and the presiding officers in there, they're actually doing the counting using torches and their phones. It's very, very dark in there. Even peeping through the window, you cannot be able to see exactly what they are doing, because I think they've put all the ballot papers on the floor. Then I think they've actually directed all the phone lights at that particular place. So what they are doing right now, they are trying to sort the ballots so that they know this particular ballot ballot belongs to which candidate for this particular exercise. So that is what is happening here. This particular polling station is among the 56 polling stations that we have in Suna East constituency that is under Junet Mohammed. And the information that we are getting, of course, with the blackout across the county, because most areas that we are trying to make inquiries, they are saying that there's a blackout. The figures that we've received, though not confirmed, indicated that sitting member of parliament Junet Mohammed, out of the 56 polling stations, he had the 28 that they'd tallied their results so far. He had managed to get 4,688, followed closely by John Pesa, former member of parliament for Migori, with the 2,689. So that initially shows that Junet perhaps has taken an early lead, but as I said, we are yet to get official communication because most areas, the darkness that has plunged, the darkness that has hit Migori town, they're experiencing. And just a case in point where I am, whereby they are using torches and phones actually to try and tally the votes at this particular polling station. So that is the situation, Akisa.
All right, Duncan, what are some of the very big names that we have trying to defend their seats in Migori County? Quickly.
The big names that we have, of course, we can hear some doors being banged behind. We don't know exactly what is happening. And police officers have just driven in 2 Land Cruisers and then they've left. But the big names that we are having here in Migori County, of course, the governor. Remember that in 2013 when he lost at this particular stage in ODM, he decamped to then little-known PDP and then eventually won the seat. Now he's come back to ODM. He feels now he has what it takes and he will fight from within. Then now he's facing former Minister for Sports and Energy and former Rongo Member of Parliament, Ochilo Ayako. So that is at the governorship level. And then in terms of at the constituency level, perhaps we can talk of Junet Mohammed, who is a first-time Member of Parliament, of course, very vocal and dependable member in ODM, seeking to defend his seat. And then for the others, the sitting Senator Mashage decided that he's going to contest as a Member of Parliament for Kuria West. So those, in terms of the big names, actually, it's only at the gubernatorial level because we are here at the senatorial. Fresh new names that have not been in politics, they are debutants. So that one actually eliminates any possible big names at that particular level. So in terms of members of parliament, I think maybe we are talking about Junet Mohammed because of his role that is played at the national politics and in his ODM party. But by and large, it is actually about Kotho Bado and Ochilo Ayako. Akisa, it's raining again and we are outside.
Right, Duncan, I will let you seek shelter. Don't be rained on. We still need you to give us updates on what is happening in Migori County. Our senior political reporter, Duncan Haimba, just giving us a brief on how the vote counting process is ongoing and some of the biggest names that we have in the battles down there in the county. Let me now speak to the panel I have in studio now. I introduced them earlier. Professor Weri Tumbo, Calvin Owidi, political analyst, as well as Dismas Mukua, political risk analyst. We've had what Duncan has said. Something that has caught all our attention is the fact that there is a blackout at one of the polling stations where vote counting is ongoing. What do you think about this particular situation? Dismas.
Well, again, that demonstrates to us that we have political parties, which are actually not political parties, they're special purpose vehicles. So nobody places a premium on planning. When you're having this kind of access, you would expect that on the bare minimum, somebody would actually sit down and do scenario analysis. And one of the things that when the voting closes at, say, 6 o'clock, you need to count the ballots. And you're not going to do it in the dark. So one would have expected that in the absence of Kenya Power, then there must be a plan B. So now we are behaving as if we're in the caves. We are using the flashlights and, lights from a mobile phone. That's really unacceptable. In other polling stations, not limited to ODM, you don't have enough ballots. In others, you don't have even ballot boxes. So you begin to wonder whether the political leadership in Kenya actually respects the party primaries or really it's just a waste of time. That probably they have a predetermined preferred candidate, or they're creating that situation so that in the middle of the night, then, something can happen. Like, for instance, Kemba said, those who are being banged and you saw policemen coming in. So that could be part of our design so that, you mix up the ballots and the ballot boxes, and eventually you declare someone a winner.
So you have a problem with the preparation?
I mean, there's no preparation.
Okay.
If what Kemba is saying is anything to go home with, there's no preparation at all.
Calvin, are you confident with how the whole process is being conducted, both by ODM and Jubilee?
Not really. I have watched ODM from 2013, day by day. When the party decided that they are going to have a reformed election board, I thought they were serious until they left the chair lady in her seat. You cannot preside over failure, and then when the organization is reformed, you still remain in your seat. I knew they were not serious. If they were really serious, one thing they would have not forgotten is lights, because we all know that votes are counted at night. So I think they are not serious. They want a situation where they can't decide in the boardroom who is the candidate, because they know once it is decided, you are as good as elected.
Professor, do you agree?
To a large extent, yes. What is becoming apparent is that the parties look like they have been compelled to hold primaries.
Correct.
It's not something they volunteered to undertake. As a result, there are several constraints that confront them now. One of them is the continued lie that we are making appropriate arrangements to make sure the election is free, fair, and credible. Now, when it is structurally unsound, functionally unsound, all right, and at personal level, there appears to be no commitment. The pledges have been clearly lip service. So broadly speaking, and referring this particular ODM primary, it's really the best word one would use here in terms of the elections board is disgusting, because these are people who have undertaken the responsibility of performing a very, very important party and national function. Now they're looking like school children, and I've heard rather disparaging remarks against Jubilee, but you can't make nice remarks about ODM with respect to this one, particularly with respect to the election management board. And for me, I feel almost personally injured, because I know some of those people personally. The respect I had in terms of how they stand.
So it's personal for you?
It's for me. I feel bad about it, because these are people who, when you talk to them, give you pledges, assurances that all will be well.
Duncan has mentioned some of the big names that are seeking to defend their seats. We are talking about the incumbent Governor Okoth Obado. We are talking about Junet Mohammed, Member of Parliament for Suna East. What are some of the possible outcomes? Do you think they will manage to clinch this particular ticket?
First of all, I have an interest in Migori, so I spend a lot of time in Migori, not particularly in Suna East, but in Suna West and Migori town. It's going to be a tall order for Ochilayako to beat Obado. It's going to be a tall order, because Obado is a fairly good grassroots organizer, and is anchored on the teaching profession. Is anchored on the teachers. Even when votes are being counted, when the queues are being formed, these major operatives are teachers. Secondly, it has taken Ochilayako quite a bit of time, because he spent most of his time at the National Nuclear Development Organization, and he kept on going, trying to put the act together. But I'm thinking that the organizational machinery of Oyako is going to be hard to defeat, so I would have to give that to him. Now, although I don't know him personally, that I'll tell you for sure.
It's good to make it clear.
Yes. Secondly, UNET is going to beat, it's going to be difficult to beat as well, because you see, the people that support UNET like his rather forthright and committed stance at the national level. So he comes out as being one of the pillars of the party.
He's already made a name for himself.
He's made a name for himself.
All right. Calvin, do you agree with the professor's analysis on Governor Okoth Obado and Suna East Member of Parliament?
To an extent, I also want to add that a sitting governor has a network of people who subscribe to his favors. There are people who have got employment in each and every county and sub-county, and I think beyond the sub-county, they are now the wards. There are people who are working for the county government. Definitely, they will not abandon their boss. More so, the governors have been having a lot of money in their hands. When money passes through your hands, some remain in your hands. So Ayako is in for a rough time. But more so, you also must remember that the stakes are very high. Bado has something to lose. Ayako has something to gain. So it's a battle for one losing, one gaining. They will both fight.
Okay.
I think the new constitution made too many goodies in these elective positions.
All right.
So that's why too much blood is flowing.
Okay. Dismas, quickly before we go to Kisumu.
Well, you know, Akisa, all politics is local. And while Junet Mohamed has been running around with Raila at the national level, where the rubber meets the road is in Suna. And John Pesa has been very active on the ground. So it may be very early in the day to dismiss John Pesa. It could easily cause an upset. And coming back to Governor Obado, again, you know, in the last ODM primaries, if they were really free and fair, we would have disabused people of this notion that you can't beat an incumbent. Because for all intents and purposes, Ojamong were beating by Otuma if the elections were free and fair. And also in Taita Taveta, where Madogo actually won. And I don't know why he's not been given the certificate. But be that as it may, Obado has done very well. There was a governor's award 2 years ago, and he scored, he was a well-performing governor. He scored very well on merit, especially on the matter of national cohesion, because Migori really is very cosmopolitan, and he's been able to balance that, and everybody seems to be happy. And also on the issue of national projects.
So that is a plus for him?
Yeah, obviously that's a plus. But again, if you go back to Raphael Tuju in Rarieda, people will tell you that in as much as you come up with development projects, as some say, they may still kick you, because they'll say, it's for this reason that we gave you the job. So you've just merely delivered on our expectation. Okay. So again, for Ochilo Yako, probably it's also very early in the day to rule him out.
All right, let's go to Kisumu, then we'll get back into the discussion. Not Kisumu, really. The polls failed to kick off in Kisumu, and CII was postponed to tomorrow. But Homa Bay did happen today, and our associate editor, Noah Otieno, has been covering that up for us. Let's just take a look at a quick clip on what happened in Kisumu, in Homa Bay, before we speak to Noah Otieno. All right, it seems we have a problem with that, but let's just go straight to Noah Otieno. A very good evening to you, Noah. You have been giving us updates since morning. We seem to be heading towards the tail end of the whole process. How would you describe the vote counting process so far?
I understand your confusion, because in the morning I was in Homa Bay County, and right now I'm in Kisumu County. I've been crossing the counties the whole day. You talk about tail end. I'm not so sure, because remember, this is ODM and this is Kisumu County, so it is not tail end until it is tail end. But there's something that Dismas Mokua said that I found interesting, that some parties are special purpose vehicles. That I want to put to my guest tonight. Let me update you on what is happening in Homa Bay County, where our Mark Namaswa is holding fort at Homa Bay High School. The tallying process is yet to begin. Remember, I was there earlier in the day, and voting started as late as 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and there's one particular polling station in Mawego where voting started at 2:30 p.m. So I think voting there might go till late, because the people there were quite eager to vote, and they were saying they are not ready to let anyone stop them from voting. So tallying in Homa Bay County yet to begin. But in Kisumu County, we are preparing for the elections that are supposed to take place tomorrow, after being postponed today due to what the newly appointed returning officer for Kisumu County, Tom Okongo, said was unpreparedness on the part of the county elections team. The newly appointed county elections team, not the aspirants. The aspirants were saying they were ready, but don't take that from me. I want to put that question to a gentleman called Owino Ogendo Bigi. Remember, the incumbent member of parliament for Nyando constituency is not running again to retain the seat. Instead, he wants to be senator. And therefore, those who are fighting for the MP seat in Nyando all believe they can make it. And one of them is Owino Ogendo Bigi. I want to ask you one simple question. As at last night, the complaint among almost all aspirants in Kisumu County was that they are not being briefed by the newly appointed county elections team. Have you been briefed now about tomorrow's election?
Thank you very much. In fact, we have not been briefed. Even yesterday, we just read late in the evening that the nominations are postponed to today. And even today, I've been in Kisumu the whole day, and nobody has called the aspirants. Nobody has called us, so we have not met the election team.
Okay, our interview is going to be very short because the National Elections Board is just about to address the country in a few minutes. So let me ask you just one more question. Who are you and why do you believe that you are fit to replace Fred Outa as the MP for Nyando?
Well, as I told you, my name is Owino Ogendo Biggie. I come from Nyando, and I'm vying in Nyando. And I think I'm fit for this post. In 2012, 2013, I wanted to stand and to compete with the present MP now, who is the outgoing because he's going to the Senate. He's vying to be a senator. But I decided, because we were two with him in ODM, and I was working then with Kenya Revenue Authority, which I just tendered my resignation, early retirement, in fact, in February. So I knew I continued working to support him. I supported him, and he went through. So during that time of supporting him, I walked and I went all through Nyando. I know the constituency very well. I've done a lot of things, a lot of development. So now I think I'm very ready, fit for the job, and equal to the task. That's why I'm vying now. I know I'm a darling of the people. I've done a lot of work through Biggie Foundation, the widows, the orphans, the schools. Remember, I've been distributing a lot of sanitary towels to most of the schools in Nyando. For a long time, I've been doing it, I'm still doing it. Even books, I donate a lot of books to schools. So I think it's a high time they reward me.
Now, one of the gentlemen who is, a member of the panel that we have in the studio in Nairobi right now in this show has said that some parties, ODM probably included, are special purpose vehicles that get very chaotic during nominations like this because people just want to use the parties to get to parliament, to get rich or maybe make wealth and make a name and go their way. We saw a lot of chaos in Nyando in 2013 and after, during the fight in the post-election challenges. Do you feel that Nyando this time round is going to have a peaceful nomination process?
Well, you know, nominations, if they're peaceful and if there's no interference, there will always be, there will be no violence. I hope up to now we have been campaigning, I've been on the campaign trail for the nominations for the last, in fact, 2 months. I've not seen anybody stoned. I've not heard anybody beaten. It has been so peaceful, and I'm looking forward that it's going to remain as that. We want peace. So like me, I don't like violence. And I'm praying that it remains like that. It's only that we need it to be transparent, fair, and that's when, if it is done well, like tomorrow we are expecting to go very early to vote. So if it's done well, no tension, then I don't see any violence coming up.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That is Owino Ogendo Biggie, who is vying for Member of Parliament for Nyando constituency, hoping to get the ODM ticket. But I will cut it short, Kisa, and I'll hand it back to you because, as I said, and I'd like to give this correction, the county elections team in Kisumu is expected to address the press any minute now. So back to you, Kisa, and see you later.
Definitely, we will be coming to you live once that briefing comes up. Thank you very much, Noah Otieno, for that. Noah is our associate editor, and they're speaking to one of the aspirants for the Nyando parliamentary seat. Let's first take a short break. Don't go too far. We will be back with more discussions on that exact interview Noah Otieno has had.